Have you ever wondered about the true nature of your existence? Who are you really? Let me tell you something that you may have never fully considered. You are God, manifesting itself into a human body. You are not just a human being living a mundane life. No, you are far more than that. You are a divine being, an expression of the infinite universal consciousness experiencing itself through a human form. Think about it. There's a part of you that already knows this, that deep, quiet voice inside, the one that whispers, there's more to life than what you've been told. It's been with you all along, reminding you that you're not just flesh and bones, your body is simply a temporary vehicle. The real you is eternal. The real you is a God particle, experiencing this reality through the lens of human existence. But here's the thing, if you miss this truth, you miss the entire point of your existence. Let's break this down. How do you refer to yourself? You don't say, I am body, do you? You say my body. You don't say, I am hand. You say my hand. The words you use show that you already understand this on some level. Your body is something you possess, but it's not who you are. You are the awareness behind it, the soul within it. And this awareness, this soul, is divine. It is God manifesting itself in physical form, experiencing life through you. This is not some metaphor. It's the literal truth. You are a fragment of the infinite, a piece of the universal consciousness. The same creative force that powers the universe flows through you. You are not separate from it. You are it in a unique, individualized expression. So if you are God manifesting itself into a human body, what does that mean for your life? For your thoughts, your beliefs, your reality? It means that you are a creator, just like the divine force that created the stars, the planets, and life itself. The power that made the universe is within you, waiting to be realized. Your thoughts, your beliefs. They are not small or insignificant. They are the tools through which you shape the reality around you. You've heard the saying, what you think, you become. But let's go deeper. This isn't just a nice idea. It's the way the universe works. As God manifesting itself in human form, you have the power to create. Your thoughts are energy, and that energy shapes your experience. Every thought you have sends out a vibration, a signal. The more you focus on a particular thought, the stronger that signal becomes. So what are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? If you think thoughts of limitation, fear, or doubt, those thoughts will manifest in your life. Why? Because as God in human form, you are always creating, whether you're aware of it or not. If your mind is filled with negativity, that's the energy you're sending out into the universe. And because you are a creator, the universe reflects that energy back to you. But when your thoughts are filled with abundance, creativity, and love, you begin to attract those higher vibrations into your life. This is the essence of manifestation. It's not some magical process happening outside of you. It's you, God manifesting itself, consciously or unconsciously creating your reality through your thoughts and beliefs. Now let's talk about belief, because your beliefs are the foundation of everything you create. They shape your thoughts, your actions, your entire experience. If you believe you're small, limited, or powerless, your life will reflect that belief. But when you begin to believe in yourself as the divine being you truly are, everything changes. You begin to align with the truth of who you are, God manifesting in human form. But here's the incredible part. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It believes whatever you feed it. This is why your thoughts are so powerful. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil, ready to grow whatever you plant in it. So what are you planting? Are you planting seeds of limitation? Or are you planting seeds of greatness, of divine creation? Remember, every thought is a creative act. You are always shaping your reality, whether you realize it or not. The key is to become conscious of this process, to start intentionally creating the life you want, rather than being a passive observer in your own life. How do you harness this divine power? How do you start living as the God that you are? It starts with awareness. Become aware of the thoughts you're thinking, the beliefs you're holding, Are they aligned with the truth of your divine nature? Or are they keeping you small? Are you focusing on what you lack, or on the infinite potential that already exists within you? Once you become aware, the next step is to consciously choose your thoughts. Start thinking in alignment with your highest self, the part of you that knows you are divine, the part of you that knows you are here to create, to evolve, and to express the infinite potential of the universe. Visualize yourself living the life you desire, not as a distant goal, but as a present reality. See yourself experiencing the abundance, the joy, the love that is your birthright as a divine being. Feel the emotions of already having it, because emotions are the fuel that amplifies the energy of your thoughts. And most importantly, practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational states you can embody. When you are grateful, you are acknowledging the divine abundance already within you. You're telling the universe, I have everything I need, and the universe, being a mirror, responds by giving you even more to be grateful for. So let's come back to the truth. You are not just a human being trying to survive. You are not small, powerless, or limited. You are God manifesting itself into human form. The same divine force that created the universe flows through you. And you are here to create, you are here to evolve, you are here to express your infinite potential. And here's the final realization. You are not alone in this. You see, we all are. Every person you encounter, every living being, every atom in existence, all are expressions of that same divine energy. We are all fragments of the same infinite consciousness, experiencing life in different forms. You are not separate from me, and I am not separate from you. We are all part of the same whole. When you look at the world around you, remember this. Everything that exists is a manifestation of God. The air, the earth, the people you meet, the stars in the sky, all of it is God expressing itself in countless ways. And because of this, we are one. There is no separation. There never was. There never will be. The divine exists in everything and everyone, and that includes you. So what will you create knowing this? What reality will we, as divine beings, shape together? The power is already within you, within all of us. All we have to do is believe. My friends, I say to you, detach, let go, and focus on your own path. For the one who clings is the one who delays. The moment you hold too tightly to what you desire, you confess you do not truly believe it is already yours. Detachment is not neglect. It is the quiet confidence that what you have seen within will manifest without in its perfect hour. When you let go, you open the way. You are no longer pushing against the current. You are allowing the invisible stream of life to carry you exactly where you must go. The door you thought was closed will swing open once you stop trying to force it. The greatest mistake is comparison. To look at another's journey and measure your own by their progress is to forget that every seed blooms in its appointed season. What belongs to another cannot fulfill you, for you have your own garden to tend. Focus instead on your vision. What picture lives in the secret chambers of your mind? What feeling fills your heart when you imagine yourself already living the life you long for? That is the key. Persist in that inner knowing, and the outer world must conform. Faith is rest. When you believe, you do not wrestle with doubt. You do not beg or chase. You recline within, knowing that what you have asked has already been granted. Let your heart be still, and in that stillness, the answer rises. Walk your path with confidence. Though others may not understand it, though circumstances may appear contrary, remain faithful to your inner vision. For life will bend, reality will yield, and the unseen will become seen. All because you detached, let go, and walked faithfully in the direction of your own path. Detachment is power because it is the recognition that all things flow most freely when we are not clutching them with desperation. The one who clings too tightly to outcomes announces silently that he does not yet trust the unseen order of life. He believes he must hold on or else lose what he desires, yet the truth is the opposite. Only in releasing, in loosening the grip, do things come nearer. Allah, when you cease to chase, the very thing you longed for turns and moves toward you, for it is no longer repelled by your anxiety, but drawn to your calm assurance. To detach is not to abandon, it is not indifference, nor is it neglect. Detachment is the quiet knowing that what is yours cannot be taken, and what is not meant for you will fall away without harm. Imagine the seed planted in the soil. If you dig it up each morning to see whether it has sprouted, you kill its life before it can emerge. But if you plant it, water it, and trust that the unseen process is working, in time the harvest will be sure. So it is with every desire you hold in your heart. The moment you release the anxiety of control, the invisible process begins to unfold in ways you cannot see. The one who lives in detachment walks through life in quiet confidence. He does not beg for love. He does not strain for wealth. He does not worry about tomorrow. He knows that life is a mirror reflecting his inner state, and so he polishes the mirror of his mind rather than chasing shadows in the world outside. If within he feels whole, the world reflects wholeness. If within he feels abundant, the world mirrors abundance. To detach is to rest in that truth without needing to force appearances. Clinging springs from fear, and fear is the confession of disbelief. You may say you believe, but if you cannot release your desire, then deep within you doubt it will come. Detachment is the sign of true faith. When you believe that the unseen is already accomplished, you have no need to wrestle or struggle. You do not worry about the how or the when. When you simply carry within the quiet assurance that it is finished, and because you live in that state, the outer world must, in its time, reflect it. Power lies not in struggle, but in surrender. Life bends to the one who releases his grasp and allows it to unfold. Think of the river. Try to dam it with your hands, and it overpowers you. Flow with it, and it carries you effortlessly to your destination. So it is with desire. When you release it into the unseen, when you detach from the outcome, you step into the current of life itself. And that current is always moving, always working for you, always bringing what belongs to you into manifestation. Detachment, then, is not weakness, it is mastery. It is the silent strength of one who trusts the unseen more than appearances, and because he does, life flows toward him without resistance. Letting go opens the way, because when you release your grip on fear and doubt, you stop resisting the very forces that are working to bring your desire into form. Most people live as though they must hold on tightly, as though control is the key to creation. Yet the truth is, control born of fear blocks the natural flow. The universe, or the unseen intelligence that governs all things, does not respond to panic or desperation. It responds to the calm certainty of one who has already accepted the end as fulfilled. When you loosen your hold on worry, when you let go of the frantic need to manage every step, you allow that unseen hand to arrange circumstances beyond what your limited mind could ever orchestrate. Fear and doubt are chains that keep you tied to the same old patterns. The more you feed them, the more tangled you become in your own web of resistance. But the moment you let go, you cut the cords. You step out of the prison you built with your anxious thoughts and enter the wide, open field where new possibilities can reach you. Letting go does not mean giving up on what you desire. It means refusing to poison it with suspicion, impatience, and disbelief. It means planting your intention firmly within, then releasing it with trust, knowing the invisible forces are already at work to bring it to pass. Consider how often you have worried over something, only to realize later that the solution came the moment you stopped obsessing about it. You wrestled with it in your mind, turned it over endlessly, tried to force the outcome, and nothing moved. Then one day you were too tired to fight. You let it rest, and suddenly, as if by miracle, the answer arrived. The door opened, the way was cleared. That was not chance, it was the fruit of letting go. The unseen hand cannot move while you are trying to control its every motion. But the moment you release, it moves with precision, swiftness, and wisdom greater than your own. Letting go is an act of faith. It is the declaration that you no longer bow to fear's whispers, nor do you submit to the tyranny of doubt. It is standing firm in the unseen reality of what you have already accepted in imagination. The outer world may mock you. Circumstances may appear unchanged, but when you let go, you are saying, I trust the unseen more than what my eyes show me. And it is that trust which compels the outer to shift and conform. When you let go, life begins to work for you rather than against you. Doors that seemed locked swing open, people appear at the right time, opportunities align themselves with no effort on your part. This is not accident, it is the natural order when you release resistance. Letting go opens the way because you step aside and allow the greater hand to move where your small hand cannot reach. In that release, in that quiet surrender, the way is made clear. Focus on inner vision, for your path is not discovered in the noise of the outer world, but in the quiet sanctuary of your imagination. So many look outward, chasing signs, waiting for circumstances to show them the way. But the outer is only a mirror. If the mirror looks distorted, it is because the image within has not been made clear. The true direction of your life lies in the pictures you hold and the emotions you cultivate in silence. The inner world is the blueprint. The outer world is the reflection. To search for guidance outside of yourself while neglecting your inner vision is like trying to change your reflection in the glass without ever altering your own face. When you focus on inner vision, you step into the creative center of life. Within your mind lives infinite possibility. And the moment you choose one image with conviction, you set in motion the forces that shape reality. This is not daydreaming without purpose, but deliberate inner seeing. It is closing your eyes to the chaos of appearances and opening them inward to the world you truly wish to live in. The picture you hold becomes the seed, and the feeling you nurture waters that seed until it grows into visible form. Consider how often you allow the outer world to dictate your feelings. If circumstances appear bleak, you feel defeated. If doors close, you sink into despair. Yet this is a reversal of the true order. Circumstances are not the cause, they are the effect. If you wish to walk a new path, you must begin not with the outer road, but with the inner vision. What is the image of yourself that you carry? Do you see yourself as abundant, loved, secure, fulfilled? Or do you rehearse failure, rejection, and lack within your imagination? Life cannot give you what you deny yourself in thought and feeling. The secret is persistence. The inner vision must be held firmly, regardless of appearances. It is easy to imagine wealth when money flows, easy to imagine love when affection surrounds you. But the true test of mastery is to hold the inner picture when the outer contradicts it. To stand in faith while the senses mock you is to plant your feet on solid ground. For in time, the outer must yield to the inner. Reality bends to the vision that is sustained with conviction and feeling. Your path is not found outside. No teacher, no circumstance, no accident of fate can show you the way if you do not first see it within. You are the author of your journey, and the script is written in the theater of your imagination. Nurture the feelings of your desired state as though they were already true. See yourself there, walk as though it is so, and feel the joy of its fulfillment now. This inner focus is not fantasy, it is the seed of reality itself. When you focus on inner vision, life has no choice but to align itself with the image you hold and the feelings you nurture. Comparison destroys destiny, because the moment you measure your life against another, you step away from the unique path that was given only to you. No two souls have the same assignment, no two journeys carry the same lessons, yet how often do we rob ourselves of peace by looking to the left and right, weighing our progress against the progress of others? This habit blinds us to the richness of our own road. It breeds envy, impatience, and doubt, and in doing so, it weakens the very faith required to bring our vision to life. The truth is simple. Their road is not yours, and to imitate or envy them is to abandon your own inheritance. The world has trained us to compare. From childhood, we are ranked, measured, placed in competition, told who is ahead and who is behind. This conditioning continues into adulthood, where wealth, success, beauty, and influence are all paraded before us as standards by which we should measure ourselves. But what if your purpose is not to be where another stands? What if your unfolding is timed differently, carrying depths that their journey never required? To compare is to deny the perfection of your own season. Every seed blooms in its time, and to measure one flower against another is to forget that the rose does not envy the lily, and the oak does not wish to be the cedar. When you compare, you weaken your own imagination. Instead of holding firmly to your vision, you begin to alter it to match the lives of others. You say, perhaps I should want what they have, or I must be failing because I do not see what they see. This splits your focus and dilutes your power. The inner vision, once clear, becomes clouded with doubt, and the outer world reflects the confusion within. But when you honor your own path, you walk in strength. You do not need to imitate another because you know that what belongs to you will come in its own perfect way. Comparison also robs you of gratitude. While you look at what another has, you overlook the blessings already present in your life. Gratitude is fuel for creation, for it magnifies what you have and multiplies it. But comparison blinds you, making you ungrateful, restless, and blind to your own progress. How many have failed to see the miracle in their own life simply because they were too busy envying the miracles of others? To break free from comparison is to step into freedom. It is to recognize that you are a unique expression of life, carrying gifts, experiences, and lessons that no one else can replicate. When you stop measuring your journey by others, you begin to hear the quiet guidance within. You realize that your timing is not late, your road is not wrong, and your vision is not small. It is yours, and that alone makes it sacred. The moment you release comparison, you reclaim your destiny. You stand firm in your own lane, trusting that every step, no matter how small, is leading you to the fulfillment designed only for you. Their road is not yours. Walk yours with confidence, and destiny will unfold exactly as it should. Faith is rest, for true belief does not demand struggle, nor does it wrestle with doubt. It does not beg or plead for proof, nor does it exhaust itself in effort to make things happen. Faith is the quiet confidence that what has been seen within is already accomplished, though the outer world has yet to reflect it. To rest in faith is to stand in the assurance that the unseen is more real than appearances, and that what you have accepted in imagination is already yours. Strain reveals doubt, but rest reveals belief. When you truly believe, you do not keep checking the outer world for signs. You do not ask, when will it come? How will it arrive? For such questions betray a hidden disbelief. Faith settles down, knowing it is already finished. Imagine a person who places an order in a trusted store. Once the order is made, he does not stand at the counter anxiously asking every moment if it has been prepared. He walks away in confidence, knowing the process is underway. So it is with faith. Once the desire is planted in the mind and accepted with feeling, you rest, knowing it is being arranged in ways you cannot see. The restless mind thinks it must make everything happen by force. It worries, schemes, and calculates, believing that if it does not strive, nothing will move. Yet the truth is that rest is the highest form of action, for it places the burden on the unseen power that governs all things. Faith is not laziness, it is alignment. It is releasing the heavy burden of control and walking with a light step, knowing that life is already bending to your inner conviction. Faith is rest because it trusts the timing. Impatience is the cry of disbelief. Why is it not here yet? But faith knows that everything unfolds in perfect season. Just as a farmer plants a seed and does not expect a tree overnight, so too does the one who believes understand that the process is sure, even if invisible for a time. There is no strain, no panic, no fear, only trust that the unseen order is at work. This rest is not passive but active in the realm of imagination. You rest outwardly, but inwardly you dwell in the state of fulfillment. You feel the joy of it as though it were already done. You walk as if the promise has already been kept. This inner relaxation is not weakness. It is the strongest declaration of belief. For the one who can rest in conviction has already won. Faith is rest because it allows you to live in peace before the manifestation arrives. You do not wait in tension, but in joy. You do not worry about the process, but live as though the end is already secured. And when you live in such rest, the outer world must eventually mirror it, bringing into view the reality you accepted within. True faith is rest, and in that rest you will see the fulfillment of all that you have believed. Walk your path with confidence, for life itself bends to the direction of your inner conviction. The world does not move for the hesitant, nor does it open its doors to the doubtful. It yields to the one who knows where he is going within, even when the outer road appears unclear. Confidence is not arrogance, it is quiet certainty. It is the steady knowing that the vision you carry inside is real, and that no circumstance, no opinion, no obstacle has the power to deny it. When you walk in this spirit, life arranges itself to meet you, and reality takes shape around the conviction you hold. Many falter because they are swayed by the noise of others. They share their vision only to be met with ridicule, and so they abandon it. They look at temporary setbacks and conclude their dream is impossible. Yet the truth is that the path was never meant to be confirmed by others. It was meant to be confirmed by the unwavering persistence of your own faith. If you do not stay faithful to your vision, no one else can do it for you. You cannot deprive yourself of your vision. No one else can do it for you. Your conviction is the compass, and without it, you wander aimlessly. But with it, every step you take, no matter how small, is a stride toward fulfillment. Confidence is the language life understands. When you walk as though you already are the person you long to be, when you carry yourself as though the dream is already fulfilled, the outer world begins to echo that state. People respond differently. Doors open in unexpected ways, and opportunities arise as if summoned by your inner assurance. The timid wait for proof before believing, but the confident know that belief itself is the proof. To walk with confidence is to live as though the unseen is already visible. Obstacles will appear, as they do for everyone, but the confident are not shaken. They know that every challenge is but a test of persistence, an opportunity to strengthen conviction. Instead of shrinking back, they press forward not by force, but by the quiet persistence of faith. For confidence is not about pushing harder, it is about refusing to abandon the inner picture, no matter what unfolds outside. When you stay faithful to your vision, life must eventually conform. The world has no choice but to mirror the state you consistently hold within. Your path may not look like another's, and it is not supposed to. You were given a unique vision, and with it the power to bring it forth. Do not dilute it by seeking approval, nor weaken it by entertaining doubt. Stand firm, see it clearly, walk with confidence, and reality will adjust itself around you. Life bends not to hesitation, but to conviction. Stay faithful to your vision. Hold it as sacred. Nurture it with feeling, and walk each day as though it is already yours. In time, the outer world will bow to the inner truth, and you will find yourself living the very reality you once carried only in imagination. Confidence in your path is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, and when you walk it faithfully, life cannot help but yield to you. My friends, the journey of life is not about clinging, comparing, or doubting. It is about detaching, letting go, and walking in quiet faith. When you release fear, when you stop measuring your path by another's, when you hold firm to your inner vision and walk with confidence, life bends to you. Rest in belief, for true faith does not struggle. It trusts, it relaxes, it knows the unseen is already done. Your destiny is not waiting for permission from the world. It is waiting for conviction within you. Step into that conviction, and the world outside must obey the direction of your inner state. Detach, let go, and focus only on your own path, for it is sacred, it is yours, and it is already leading you to fulfillment. Thank you, my friends, for listening, for opening your hearts, and for walking this path of inner discovery with me. May you carry these truths with you and live them daily. Blessings to you all.
What if I told you that the most powerful force in the universe has been living inside you your entire life, and you've been treating it like a stranger? Today, I'm going to reveal something that will fundamentally change how you see yourself, how you move through the world, and why you've been living like a beggar when you were born to be a king. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover has been hidden from you by a world that profits from your confusion. There's a crisis happening right now, and it's not what the news is telling you. It's not economic. It's not political. It's spiritual. Millions of people are walking around like empty shells, searching for something they can't name, chasing things that don't satisfy, and living lives that feel like borrowed costumes that never quite fit. They wake up every morning with a gnawing sense that something is missing, that they're capable of more, that there's a purpose they can't quite grasp. They scroll through social media, looking for inspiration, read self-help books searching for answers, attend seminars, hoping someone will finally give them the key to unlock their potential. But here's what's shocking about this crisis. The very thing they're searching for everywhere else is already inside them. It's been there since their first breath. It's the reason they feel restless when they compromise. It's the source of that voice that says, you're meant for more when they're settling for less. It's why certain conversations light them up, while others drain their energy. It's why they can sense when someone is lying before they have proof. It's why they sometimes know exactly what to say in moments of crisis, even when they've never faced that situation before. But society has trained us to ignore it. We've been conditioned to look up to the sky, to bow to institutions, to wait for permission, to seek validation from sources outside ourselves. We've been taught that power is something you earn, wisdom is something you study, and purpose is something you find through trial and error. We've been programmed to believe that the answers are always somewhere else, in the next book, the next course, the next guru, the next relationship, the next job, the next city. All lies. The truth is this. You were born with the mind of the Creator embedded in your DNA, not as metaphor, not as poetry, as reality. And I'm about to prove it to you in a way that will make you question everything you thought you knew about limitation. Think about this for a moment. When you get a gut feeling about someone, where does that come from? When you know something is wrong before anyone tells you, what is that? When you have an idea that seems to come from nowhere but changes everything, who sent it? When you're in a conversation and the perfect words come out of your mouth, surprising even you with their wisdom, where did that wisdom originate? When you make a decision that everyone calls crazy but it works out perfectly, what guided you? You've been experiencing divine intelligence your entire life. You just called it intuition. You labeled it coincidence. You dismissed it as imagination. You credited it to luck or good timing, or being in the right place at the right moment. But what if those moments of knowing, those flashes of clarity, those times when you acted with perfect timing, without planning, what if those weren't accidents? What if they were glimpses of who you really are, when you stop getting in your own way? Let me tell you about two types of people you'll meet in this world. The first type walks into a room and immediately starts calculating. They read the room, adjust their personality, measure their words, and perform whatever version of themselves they think will be accepted. They speak differently to their boss than to their friends. They act one way at church and another way at home. They live in reaction. They move based on the mood of others. They speak to please rather than to express truth. They're always scanning for approval, always adjusting their behavior based on who's watching, always performing some version of themselves that they think will get them what they want. But then there's the second type, and when you meet them, you'll never forget it. The second type walks into that same room, and something shifts. Not because they're loud or dramatic, but because they carry something that can't be faked. They don't read the room responds to them. They don't perform, they simply are. And in their presence, people remember something they had forgotten about themselves. Children gravitate toward them. Animals sense something different. Even their enemies respect them, though they can't explain why. What's the difference? The first person has forgotten who lives inside them. The second has remembered. The second person has made a decision that changed everything. They've decided to act as if the creator of the universe dwells within them. Not when they feel holy, not when they're perfect, not when the world agrees with them. Right now, in their doubt, in their mess, in their confusion, in their ordinary Tuesday morning, when they're running late and spilled coffee on their shirt. And here's what happens when you make that same decision, when you begin to act as if divine intelligence lives within you. Your entire operating system upgrades. You stop asking permission to exist. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop seeking validation from sources that can never truly know you. But more than that, and this is where it gets interesting, you start accessing capabilities you didn't know you had. I'm talking about abilities that will seem almost magical to people who are still living from their limitations. You'll start saying things that are exactly what someone needed to hear, without planning it. You'll make decisions with perfect timing, without having all the information. You'll know things about people before they tell you. You'll feel danger before it arrives, and opportunity before it knocks. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time so often that people will start calling you lucky. This isn't supernatural. This is you functioning the way you were designed to function before fear taught you to doubt every instinct. Before society trained you to second-guess every impulse. Before you learned to trust everyone's opinion except the voice inside your own chest. This is what happens when you remember that you're not just a biological machine trying to survive in a random universe. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And that spiritual essence is connected to the source of all intelligence, all wisdom, all power. I once watched a man transform his entire business by making one decision, not a strategic decision, not a calculated move based on market research or competitor analysis. He simply decided to stop asking, "What will people think?" and started asking, "What wants to be created through me?" He stopped trying to figure out what would sell, and started paying attention to what was trying to emerge through his unique gifts and perspective. Within 6 months, his revenue tripled. His team changed. His entire industry started following his lead. People asked him what course he took, what consultant he hired, what strategy he implemented. They wanted the formula, the system, the step-by-step process. The answer, he remembered who was living inside him and started acting accordingly. He aligned with something bigger than his personal will and let it flow through his work. But before you can access this power, you have to understand why most people never will. Here's the brutal truth, that most personal development won't tell you. You will never feel ready to carry what you were born to carry. Let me say that again, because this is where most people get stuck forever. You will never feel ready to carry what you were born to carry. Why? Because divine assignments don't arrive at your level of comfort. They arrive at your level of obedience. They don't wait for you to feel confident, qualified, or prepared. They come when the timing is right, from a perspective you can't see, requiring you to stretch beyond who you've been into who you're becoming. Readiness is a feeling. Obedience is a decision. And the difference between these two will determine whether you die with your music still inside you, or whether you become a symphony that changes the world around you. The world is full of people who are waiting to feel confident, waiting to feel worthy, waiting to feel qualified, waiting for more proof, waiting for better timing, waiting for permission, waiting for someone to discover them, waiting for the perfect plan, waiting for all the resources to be in place, waiting for the fear to go away, waiting for the doubt to disappear, waiting for their circumstances to change. And while they wait, the assignment that was meant for them gets passed to someone else. Not someone more qualified, someone more available, not someone more talented, someone more willing, not someone more prepared, someone more obedient to the call they're receiving. You see, divine intelligence doesn't wait for your emotional alignment. It doesn't delay the plan until your insecurities are satisfied. It doesn't postpone the timing until you feel ready. It moves through the person who says yes while their hands are still shaking, who speaks up while their voice is still trembling, who steps forward while their knees are still knocking. 3 years ago, I felt a strong urge to start speaking publicly about these concepts. I had no experience in public speaking, no credentials in spirituality or psychology, no platform, no following, no guarantee anyone would listen. Every logical part of my mind said, wait until you're more prepared, get some training, study under a mentor, build credibility first, create a plan, figure out the business model. But there was something inside me that said, now, not a voice I could hear with my ears, a knowing I could feel in my bones, a pressure in my chest, an inner alignment that had nothing to do with my feelings about it. It was like a river that had been building up behind a dam, and the dam was about to burst, whether I cooperated or not. I could have waited. I could have gotten more training, more experience, more confidence. I could have spent years preparing, studying, practicing in private. But I had learned something crucial. The divine doesn't give you instruction based on your mood. It gives it based on timing that you can't see from your limited perspective. It operates according to patterns and purposes that are bigger than your personal comfort zone. So I made a choice that terrified me, and it changed everything. I decided to act before I felt ready, and in that decision, everything I thought I needed began to appear. The words came while I was speaking them. The confidence built while I was moving. The path became clear while I was walking it. The resources showed up as I needed them, not before. This is how divine intelligence works. Faith is not proven by stillness. Faith is proven by motion. You don't get to see the whole staircase. You just take the first step, and the next step appears. You don't get the complete blueprint. You get the next instruction, and when you follow it, the one after that becomes visible. So let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. What are you waiting for? What calling have you been ignoring because you don't feel qualified? What message are you withholding because you fear being misunderstood? What action are you delaying because you haven't figured out step 5, when step 1 is still undone? What dream are you postponing because you're waiting for better circumstances, more resources, or someone else's permission? Because what I'm about to tell you will eliminate every excuse you've been using to stay small. You don't lack clarity. You lack commitment to what is already clear. Read that again. You don't lack clarity. You lack commitment to what is already clear. That restlessness you feel when you're not living authentically, that's not confusion. That's the divine intelligence within you, pressing against the walls of your comfort zone, demanding expression. That idea that keeps returning to your mind, no matter how many times you dismiss it. That's not wishful thinking. That's instruction. That sense that you're meant for something bigger than your current circumstances. That's not ego or delusion. That's recognition. That pull you feel towards certain activities, certain people, certain causes. That's not random. That's guidance. That discomfort you feel when you compromise your values or settle for less than what you know is possible. That's not weakness. That's your inner compass recalibrating, reminding you that you're off course. But here's what happens to most people. They ask for the calling to come again instead of acting on the one that already came. They pray for more signs when they've already received clear direction. They ask for confirmation when they've already been shown what to do. They wait for the feeling to return when the instruction was never based on feeling in the first place. And this is where everything changes or everything stays the same. When you finally say yes, without full understanding, without full preparation, without full confidence, that's when the real power begins to flow to what is already clear. But let me clarify something important. This isn't the kind of power the world teaches you to seek. This isn't power over others. This isn't power to dominate or control or manipulate. This isn't power to get what you want by force or manipulation. This is the power of alignment, the power of authenticity, the power of someone who no longer needs to pretend because they've remembered who they really are. And people feel this kind of power immediately. Have you ever been in the presence of someone who wasn't trying to impress anyone? Someone who spoke with quiet authority? Someone whose silence was more compelling than most people's speeches? Someone who could walk into a chaotic situation and bring calm just by being there? Someone who could speak truth in a way that landed without creating defensiveness. That's what happens when a person stops drawing from the outside world for validation and starts drawing from the infinite source within. They don't need to be loud to be heard. They don't need to perform to be respected. They don't need to chase anything, because everything they need is drawn to their alignment like iron filings to a magnet. This is what the ancients called magnetic presence. It's not charisma that can be learned. and often feels manipulative. It's not confidence that can be faked, and often masks insecurity. It's the natural result of a human being who has stopped betraying themselves and started honoring what lives within them. But this transformation requires something most people aren't willing to do. You have to make room. If your mind is full of fear, if your calendar is full of distractions, if your environment is full of voices that mock your calling, don't tell me you're aligned with divine intelligence. You cannot host the sacred in a crowded house. You cannot carry infinite intelligence in a schedule ruled by distraction. You cannot hear what's holy if all you listen to is noise. You cannot receive divine guidance if your attention is constantly fragmented among 1,000 different inputs. Let me be specific about what this looks like in practical terms. You wake up and listen instead of immediately reaching for your phone to see what everyone else is doing. You take time for sacred stillness, not for more motivation, but for connection with the source of all motivation. You create space in your day for contemplation, for reflection, for simply being present with yourself without any agenda. You say no to conversations that pollute your peace. You cut ties with environments that cheapen your energy. You distance yourself from people who drain your vitality or mock your vision. You guard your ears like gates, watching what you consume not because you're fragile, but because you're carrying something holy that requires protection. You fast not just from food, but from everything that clouds your vision. Toxic media, negative conversations, energy-draining activities, relationships that pull you down rather than lift you up. You become intentional about what you allow into your mental and emotional space, understanding that everything you consume either feeds your connection to divine intelligence or interferes with it. And when you create this space, something extraordinary happens. Suddenly you think more clearly. You know what to say without rehearsing it. You feel strength without forcing it. You speak with weight even in soft words. You move with peace even when there's pressure. You make decisions from a place of inner knowing rather than external analysis. But this only happens when space has been made. And that space isn't just physical. It's emotional, spiritual, energetic. You have to clear out the clutter in all dimensions of your being. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that crowds my spirit? What relationships have expired, but I still carry them like dead weight? What guilt, shame, regret, and past versions of myself am I dragging around like chains? What patterns am I stuck in not because they serve me, but because I'm afraid of the stillness that will follow if I let them go? Because here's the hard truth. Some of you need to hear. Some of you keep your lives loud, because silence would force you to confront what you've been avoiding. The pain you haven't processed, the dreams you've abandoned, the truth about what you really want versus what you think you should want, the gap between who you're being and who you're called to be. But in that silence is where divine intelligence lives. In that stillness is where alignment begins. In that open space is where your next instruction is waiting. You don't need to add more to your life. You need to subtract what's blocking your power. There comes a moment in every life when the questions must stop. The begging, the wishing, the searching, the restless prayer that sounds like, when will someone help me? When will the way become clear? When will I be given the power? When will my circumstances change? When will someone see my potential and give me a chance? And the answer, though few are willing to hear it, is this. You were not meant to keep asking. You were meant to become the answer. You were not created to chase certainty. You were designed to embody it. You were not placed on this earth to wonder who will rise. You were placed here to rise yourself, so others remember they can too. But here's the tragedy. Most will never rise, not because they lack opportunity, but because they never believed they were chosen to become the solution they waited for. They waited for the right leader to appear, the right mentor to guide them, the right door to open, the right person to believe in them, the right circumstances to align. But what if you are the leader you've been waiting for? What if you are the door you've been trying to find? What if the answer you keep searching for in the world has been asking for permission to live through you all along? What if your calling isn't to find your purpose, but to become so aligned with divine intelligence that purpose flows through you naturally? So here's what separates those who become the answer from those who die still waiting. Decision, pure, simple, irrevocable decision. Decision to walk into the unknown with the confidence of one who knows he is not empty. Decision to stand where others tremble. Decision to speak when the moment calls, even if your voice has never been used that way before. Decision to carry your assignment even when your hands still shake. The shaking doesn't disqualify you. The fear doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. The doubt doesn't cancel your destiny. These are not signs that you're unworthy. They're signs that you're about to grow beyond who you've been. When you make this decision, really make it. Not just think about it, or wish for it, or plan to make it someday. People will ask, what changed? And you won't be able to explain it, because it wasn't a moment, it wasn't a conversation, it wasn't a technique, it was a return to who you were before the fear, before the forgetting, before the smallness, before the delay. A return to the one truth they could never take from you, that divine intelligence lives within you, and that changes everything. It changes how you walk, how you talk, how you make decisions, how you handle pressure, how you treat people, how you see opportunities, how you respond to challenges. When you truly understand and embody this truth, you stop living as if you're alone in the universe, struggling against forces beyond your control. You start living as if you're partnered with the creative intelligence that designed galaxies and grows flowers and beats your heart without you having to think about it. You stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what wants to be expressed through me? You stop trying to figure everything out with your limited human mind and start trusting the infinite intelligence that knows things you could never calculate or predict. You stop forcing and start flowing. You stop pushing and start attracting. You stop performing and start being. And in that being, in that authenticity, in that alignment, you become a force of nature that can't be stopped, can't be imitated, and can't be ignored. So walk. Walk until the questions stop. Walk until the room shifts when you enter it. Walk until doors open that were locked to everyone else. Walk until your life becomes the loudest proof that something divine is moving through you. Walk until you no longer have to convince anyone of your worth, your calling, or your purpose. Walk until people can sense the presence of something greater just by being around you. Walk until your silence speaks louder than their noise. Walk until your peace becomes contagious and your certainty becomes magnetic. Because when a person carries the presence of infinite intelligence within them, they become unmistakable. They don't have to announce it, prove it, or defend it. It announces itself through every word they speak, every decision they make, every room they enter, every life they touch. The divine is not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to remember. And once you do, everything changes. Not just for you, but for everyone whose life intersects with yours. You become a catalyst for awakening, a reminder of what's possible, a living example of what happens when a human being remembers who they really are and starts acting accordingly. This is your invitation. This is your moment. This is your time to stop living as if you're powerless and start walking as if you carry the force that moves mountains, parts seas, and transforms lives, with nothing more than aligned intention and surrendered action. The question is not whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing. Are you willing to let go of the small story you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you can do? Are you willing to step into the magnitude of what wants to be expressed through your unique presence in this world? Are you willing to stop waiting and start walking, because the world needs what you carry, and it needs it now?
Unshakable. Even if the world seems to contradict you, even if external challenges appear formidable, your inner triumph remains untouched because it exists independently of appearances. It is self-sufficient, unchanging, and eternal. To live in this way, you must train yourself to see the end first, to embrace the feeling of having already won, and to dwell in it as a present reality. Your imagination is the seed, and feeling is the water that nourishes it. The more vividly and sincerely you dwell in the consciousness of victory, the more inevitable its manifestation becomes. The world cannot resist what you have already accepted as true. Outer achievements are simply the confirmation of an inner reality that has long been established. When you fully embrace this principle, you understand that all struggle, effort, and striving are unnecessary. They are the result of living in the world of appearances rather than in the world of imagination where true power resides. Victory exists within first, and once it has taken root in your consciousness, it is only a matter of time before the outer world bends to reflect it, proving to you and to all that your triumph was never a distant hope. It was always your reality. To live in the end is to dwell in the reality of your fulfilled desire as if it has already happened. Most people live at the edge of their dreams, perpetually anticipating what might be, constantly measuring themselves against a future that seems distant and uncertain. They focus on steps, plans, and procedures, believing that success is something to be chased or earned. But this approach keeps them in a state of longing, forever dependent on circumstances to dictate their reality. True mastery begins when you shift your consciousness and act, speak, and think from the end, from the completed picture of your desire. Living in the end requires imagination PA, fired with feeling. It is not enough to visualize the outcome superficially. You must immerse yourself in the experience, as if it is your present reality. Hear the sounds, sense the atmosphere, feel the emotions of having achieved what you seek. Let the satisfaction, joy, and relief of accomplishment fill every fiber of your being. When you dwell in this state, your consciousness carries a magnetic certainty that the outer world cannot deny. You are no longer waiting for life to deliver. Life becomes a reflection of what you have already claimed. Every word you speak, every action you take, and every thought you entertain should be aligned with the reality of your end. Speak with authority as though your victory is undeniable. Move through your days as someone who already inhabits the life they desire. Do not concern yourself with the how or the timeline. These are the details that the universe will arrange once your inner reality is fixed. The power lies in assuming the state of fulfillment first. Once this is done, the outer world is compelled to conform. The universe responds to the frequency of your consciousness, bending circumstances, events, and people to mirror what you have already accepted as true. Living in the end also dissolves resistance. When you no longer rely on external validation or evidence, doubt cannot find a foothold. The world may present challenges or temporary contradictions, but these cannot alter the reality that has been firmly established within you. Your inner assumption acts as an anchor, steady and immovable, while the outer world rearranges itself to validate it. To embody this principle is to awaken to a profound truth. The world is not the creator of your destiny. You are. When you live in the end, you inhabit a reality of your own making, and the outer world must inevitably prove what you have already known in the depths of your consciousness. Your victory is no longer a distant goal, it is your living present, awaiting only your continued assumption to manifest in every corner of your life. The world you see around you is not your master, it is merely a reflection of past assumptions and temporary conditions. Outer appearances are fleeting, changeable, and often misleading. Yet so many people allow their present environment to dictate their sense of possibility, their belief in themselves, and their expectation of what is achievable. They measure their worth by what the world shows them, by what is visible, tangible, or apparently real. But true power lies in refusing to be influenced by external circumstances, for they have no authority over the reality that you have already assumed within your imagination. To ignore circumstances is not to deny reality. It is tea. Or recognize that appearances are transient and that your consciousness is permanent. You may face lack, delay, opposition, or confusion in the outer world, yet none of these conditions can nullify the victory already secured in your mind and heart. Your present environment is like a stage set for a play. It may seem convincing, but it cannot alter the script that has been written within you. The moment you anchor yourself in the certainty of what is already yours, the outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your inner truth. This principle requires a shift in focus. Instead of observing the world and reacting to its contradictions, you turn inward and dwell in the reality of your fulfilled desire. Let your attention rest on the end result, the state of completion, and the feeling of having already achieved your goal. Do not argue with appearances. Do not attempt to force events to match your desire, and do not measure yourself against temporary setbacks. Every delay, every obstacle, and every seeming contradiction is simply the echo of a world yet to align with your assumption. When you ignore current circumstances, you are no longer a servant of the outer world. You reclaim your sovereignty over your own experience. Your certainty becomes magnetic, and the world, unable to resist, gradually conforms. Opportunities, resources, and validations appear effortlessly because they are drawn to the reality you have established within. Circumstances may seem contrary for a time, but they are powerless against an imagination fully engaged in the truth of its victory. The lesson is clear: the outer world is never the measure of your success. What is established in your mind and felt in your heart is the only reality that matters. By ignoring temporary appearances and remaining steadfast in the assumption of your desired outcome, you not only maintain your inner peak, but you also set the stage for the world to prove your triumph. The proof comes naturally, effortlessly, and inevitably, because what is imagined and assumed in consciousness cannot be denied by the outer world. The mind alone is not enough to shape reality. It is the feeling behind thought that acts as the bridge between imagination and manifestation. You can visualize, plan, and strategize endlessly, yet until you truly feel the reality you desire, it remains distant and unreal. Feeling is the language of creation. It is the vibration that awakens your inner assumption and carries it into the physical world. The emotion of accomplishment, gratitude, and certainty is not just an accessory to imagination. It is the very engine that transforms the unseen into the seen. When you feel your victory before it appears, you are no longer hoping or wishing for it, you are living it. The world outside has no choice but to reflect what your consciousness already embraces. Feeling gives imagination substance, turning mental images into lived experiences. A thought without feeling is like a seed without soil. It cannot grow. But when you immerse yourself fully in the emotion of having already achieved your desire, the unseen becomes inevitable. Gratitude, in particular, is a powerful form of feeling. To feel gratitude for what you have not yet received may seem paradoxical, yet it is this very act that signals to the universe that your triumph is already complete and secure. Accomplishment carries a distinct energy that transforms your state of being. When you feel the satisfaction of having won, your inner world aligns with the reality you wish to manifest. Certainty removes doubt and hesitation, leaving only the pure, unwavering belief that what you have imagined is already yours. This feeling does not wait for confirmation from the outside. It exists independently, unshaken by appearances or temporary circumstances. The outer world cannot deny a feeling that has fully taken hold within. Many struggle because they rely solely on visualization or mental repetition. They think that seeing is enough, yet the unseen is only drawn into experience when the feeling of reality is present. Thought directs, but feeling accelerates. Thought may outline the path, but feeling is what energizes it, infusing it with life and compelling the world to conform. Without feeling, imagination remains a hollow exercise and desires linger unfulfilled. To master creation, one must learn to dwell not merely in ideas, but in the emotional truth of those ideas. Let the feeling of victory, of fulfillment, of gratitude saturate your being. Allow it to shape your words, actions, and presence. When this happens, you do not chase reality, it chases you. The unseen becomes seen because you have already lived it inwardly, and the outer world is powerless to resist the compelling force of your fully felt imagination. Time, as most perceive it, is a relentless master, dictating when events must unfold and how long it will take for desires to materialize. Yet this is a misconception. Time is not a ruler of manifestation, it is a mirror that reflects the state of consciousness. When your inner reality is firmly established, when your assumption of victory is complete and unshakable, time ceases to be an obstacle, and external events naturally arrange themselves to validate what has already been imagined. Waiting and struggle are illusions born of uncertainty. They only exist when your inner world is in doubt or divided. The key is to realize that your inner assumption precedes the outer result. Once the inner state is settled, the world has no choice but to conform. There is no need to push, chase, or manipulate circumstances. Effort is only required when there is resistance within. When your consciousness fully embraces the reality of your desire, everything in the external world flows toward it as naturally as water flows to its level. The universe becomes an obedient servant, orchestrating events, people, and opportunities in perfect harmony with your inner certainty. Many struggle with impatience, believing that they must control the timing of manifestation. They count days, hours, and months, fretting over when their success will appear. This is a sign that the assumption has not yet taken full hold. True mastery involves surrender, not surrender in action, but surrender in trust. Trust that the world cannot contradict what you have already assumed as true. Your inner reality is like a stone dropped into a pond. Its impact cannot be denied, and the ripples will inevitably reach the surface, revealing the manifestation in its appointed moment. When you understand that time conforms to assumption, you release the tension and anxiety that accompany longing. You no longer measure progress by external markers or fleeting circumstances. Instead, you anchor yourself in the feeling of completion, knowing that every visible sign will eventually align with what has long been settled in consciousness. There is no rush, no struggle, no artificial acceleration required. The timing of the world is secondary. What matters is the state of your inner reality. The world cannot contradict your assumption. Once you have firmly assumed the end, time becomes your ally, not your enemy. Events, opportunities, and confirmations will appear naturally, perfectly sequenced, and effortlessly. Your inner reality dictates the rhythm of manifestation, and external circumstances follow in quiet obedience. In this understanding, patience is not passive. It is an active faith in the power of consciousness, knowing that once the inner is complete, the outer must inevitably reflect it. Once you have fully claimed your victory internally, the next step is not to chase, struggle, or force the world to conform to your desire. Your task is complete the moment your consciousness embraces the reality of your triumph. The outer world is merely a mirror, And when the reflection is delayed, it is not a sign of failure. It is simply the world adjusting to the certainty you've already established within. The moment you release the need to control outcomes, you allow reality to catch up with the truth of your inner assumption. The universe is responsive, but it responds according to the state of your consciousness, not your efforts. Many people believe that action or manipulation is required to make their dreams real, yet all external arrangements flow naturally from the inner state. Once your mind and heart have fully embodied the feeling of completion, the universe begins to orchestrate circumstances, people, and events to validate your assumption. There is no need to push or convince. The proof will appear effortlessly. Your inner reality is the seed, and the world is simply the harvest. Allowing the world to respond requires trust and patience. It demands that you step back from anxiety, doubt, and the compulsion to force outcomes. Resistance is only born from a mind that questions whether the inner reality is sufficient. When you act from the certainty that your victory is already yours, you create an energetic harmony that draws external confirmations naturally. Doors open, opportunities arise, and people align with your assumed state, all without your interference. This is the power of allowing, the power of letting reality reflect what is already true within. It is essential to understand that forcing outcomes is counterproductive. The world cannot manifest a reality you have not first assumed, and it cannot manifest one that is imposed through effort or desperation. The outer world obeys the inner law of consciousness. Once your inner victory is established, your only responsibility is to maintain the assumption and let events unfold naturally. The universe will rearrange itself in perfect timing, bringing proof that cannot be denied. By allowing the world to respond, you embody the true essence of mastery. You demonstrate unwavering faith in your inner reality, and you release the illusion that external conditions dictate your success. The world is compelled to mirror the truth of your consciousness. Every sign, every circumstance, and every confirmation will align to validate the victory you have already claimed. The unseen has been secured. Now the seen simply catches up. By letting go, by trusting the process, you allow the universe to demonstrate to you and everyone else that your triumph was never in question. It was always a reality waiting to be revealed. And so, we arrive at the truth of your journey. You have already won. All that remains is for the world to reflect what has been firmly established within you. Your inner reality, your assumption of victory, your feeling of completion, they are the seeds from which every outer manifestation must grow. Do not chase, do not doubt, do not argue with appearances. Stand in the certainty of your triumph, live in the end, feel the reality, and trust that time and circumstances will bend effortlessly to confirm what you already know to be true. The universe is not your enemy, it is your servant responding faithfully to the conviction you hold. Let it prove your victory without resistance, without forcing, without hurry. Your role is complete. You have imagined, assumed, and felt the end. Now allow the world to demonstrate what your consciousness has already claimed. Every opportunity, every confirmation, every validation will appear naturally, aligning with the truth that you have long embraced. The power has always been within you. The outer world is merely a reflection, and it cannot contradict the reality you have established in your mind and heart. Stand firm, live fully in the end, and rejoice in the certainty that all things have already been set into motion to prove your triumph. Thank you.
Imagine for a moment that every challenge you face, every obstacle in your path, every single moment of doubt or uncertainty is actually an opportunity for growth. Within you exists a wellspring of incredible power, a force that, when truly tapped into, can transform your reality and guide you toward your highest potential. This force isn't external. It doesn't come from material possessions or anything you can physically touch. It emerges from within the moment you genuinely believe that everything, absolutely everything, always works out for your highest good. We've all heard that our beliefs shape our reality. But have you ever fully embraced the idea that everything always works out for you? Not just when life feels easy and the sun is shining, but especially during those stormy days when doubt and fear try to knock you off course. What if you lived as if, despite appearances, and despite any chaos surrounding you, the universe is always conspiring in your favor? I found in my own life that it's relatively simple to believe when things are flowing smoothly, when we're seeing the results we want, and everything feels aligned. But the true magic happens when we maintain that belief, even when we can't yet see the outcome. When circumstances don't reflect our desires, this is where transformation begins. Picture yourself standing before a doorway to everything you've ever dreamed of. You can see it clearly in your mind. You know that behind that door is the life you've imagined for yourself. In my experience, most people will stand before that door shaking their heads, wondering if they'll ever get in. They might complain about the locked door, perhaps even deciding it wasn't meant for them. Here's what I've discovered, though. The door was never actually locked. It only appears that way because you haven't yet found the key. And that key is your unwavering belief. The absolute assumption that everything always works out for you, even when you can't see how. When I truly embraced this mindset in my own life, things began to shift. When you genuinely believe that what you desire is already on its way, your thoughts and actions naturally align with that belief. You begin to act as if your desire is already yours. And when you do this, something remarkable happens. The universe begins to rearrange itself to bring that desire into your experience. We tend to think of time as linear, don't we? A beginning, middle, and end. We believe events must unfold in a specific sequence. But what if time, as we understand it, is just an illusion? What if the future you desire already exists right now, simply waiting for you to step into it? I've come to believe that everything meant for you is already in motion. By holding the conviction that everything always works out for you, you align with the energy of possibility, bringing your desires into the present moment. Think about how we navigate daily life. The ups and downs, challenges and victories, moments of confusion balanced with moments of clarity. I've learned to see all these experiences as pieces of a grand puzzle, perfectly designed to fit together. What appears as confusion today might actually be the stepping stone guiding you toward tomorrow's clarity. Every twist, every turn, every seemingly wrong step could be directing you precisely where you need to be. Our challenge comes when we view life through a lens of limitation, seeing our current circumstances as permanent or as a reflection of what's possible. In truth, your current state merely reflects your past thoughts. The moment you shift those thoughts, your reality begins to transform with them. How do you feel when you truly trust that everything always works out for you? When you no longer worry about outcomes? When you assume that regardless of circumstances, things are working in your favor? I've experienced a profound lightness and peace when I stop fighting against life's current and instead surrender to it. There's freedom in knowing that everything is working out, even when it's not yet visible. This peace comes from understanding that you're not separate from life's flow. You're an integral part of it, and it's always moving in your direction. Of course, we can't simply sit back passively waiting for things to happen. We must take action. But there's a crucial difference between action driven by fear and action inspired by trust. When you hold the belief that everything always works out for you, the action you take isn't clouded by doubt or anxiety. It's filled with confidence. You move forward knowing your steps are guided, that your efforts matter, and that you're moving in the right direction, even when results haven't yet materialized. Think about the great achievers throughout history. They didn't wait for perfect conditions before taking action. They moved forward as if everything would work out for them. And because of that belief, they created what seemed impossible. Every success story I've encountered is fundamentally about someone who believed in possibilities beyond current circumstances, who knew they were worthy of their desires, and trusted that despite any odds, everything would work out for them. The moment you decide that everything always works out for you, life becomes easier. That door to your desires is no longer locked. It's wide open. You're simply walking through it, moment by moment, knowing each step brings you closer to the life you've imagined. You begin to see obstacles differently, not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow, to learn something valuable, and to evolve into your highest potential. So I ask you, what would your life look like if you truly believed everything always works out for you? What if you released fear, doubt, and the need to control every outcome? What if you trusted that everything you need is already on its way, that the universe is actively conspiring in your favor, that life is moving toward your good even when it's invisible to you? When you adopt this belief, you step into your authentic power. You align with life's natural flow and realize you're not just observing your reality, you're actively creating it. The challenges, setbacks, and uncertainties become part of the perfect plan unfolding step by step. Truly acting as if everything works out requires deep faith. Not passive hope, but active, confident trust in your ability to navigate whatever arises. Faith means knowing without doubt that regardless of external circumstances, you can handle whatever comes your way. It's believing that even during uncertainty, the right people, opportunities, and circumstances are being drawn to you, and every experience guides you towards something better. In my own moments of doubt, I found that faith gives me strength to move forward even when I can't see the path ahead. It empowers me to take bold action, not because I have all the answers, but because I trust the answers will emerge when needed. Another powerful aspect of this mindset is recognizing you're never truly alone. When you act as if everything works out for you, you begin to notice the synchronicities and serendipities surrounding you, the whispers of guidance, the signs, and moments when the universe seems to conspire to bring exactly what you need. These aren't coincidences. They result from your alignment with the belief that everything is working in your favor. As you maintain this belief, you'll see how people, events, and opportunities appear at precisely the right time. I've experienced this repeatedly in my own life. Conversations with strangers that led to unexpected opportunities, sudden inspirations that solved problems I've been struggling with, chance encounters that changed my path completely. Life is constantly supporting us, if only we have eyes to see it. This mindset doesn't mean life will always be smooth sailing. There will still be difficult moments when things don't go as planned and uncertainty looms. But when you act as if everything always works out for you, you respond to these moments differently. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, you recognize them as opportunities to strengthen your faith, to trust more deeply, and to align more fully with your desires. You stop worrying about outcomes and begin enjoying the process, knowing you're always moving towards something greater. The beauty of this mindset is that it doesn't just change how you experience the world. It shifts the very energy you radiate into it. When you genuinely believe everything works out for you, your presence becomes magnetic. People, situations, and opportunities aligned with your energy naturally gravitate toward you. This isn't coincidence. It's the direct result of the belief you've adopted. You begin moving through life with calm confidence, which effortlessly attracts what you need. The shift might be subtle at first, but as you embrace this idea more fully, you'll notice the fog clearing. Where you once saw challenges, you'll see opportunities. Where you once saw problems, you'll find solutions. Even amid uncertainty, you'll remain grounded in knowing everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Think about the last time something didn't go as planned. Did you remain stuck in frustration? Or did you choose to trust that something greater was unfolding? I found that the key to turning every challenge into a stepping stone is adopting the mindset that no matter what, everything is working out for you. Even when things seem to fall apart, they're often falling together in ways we can't yet understand. Reflect on times in your life when something that initially felt like a setback became a blessing. Perhaps losing a job led to a better opportunity, or a relationship ending created space for a healthier partnership. Each experience was an invitation to grow and to understand that everything works out, often in ways beyond our current comprehension. As you embrace the belief that everything always works out for you, you'll begin making decisions from a place of inspiration rather than fear. You'll trust yourself more deeply and have confidence that your choices align with your highest good. Even when things don't immediately unfold as expected, you'll remain steadfast in knowing they're leading somewhere even better. Like planting a seed, you don't dig it up daily to check if it's growing. You nurture it and trust that in time it will flourish. Your trust is the water, your faith the sunshine, your actions the nurturing hands, helping the seed grow. One day you'll look up to find the life you once dreamed of standing right before you. There's profound peace in understanding that everything always works out for you. The need to worry about the future dissolves as you live fully present, knowing the future is already unfolding in your favor. Each moment becomes an opportunity to reinforce your belief and witness life working for you rather than against you. You no longer feel victimized by circumstances or give power to things beyond your control. Instead, you step into your role as a conscious creator, shaping reality not through force, but through belief. The universe responds to this belief and begins shifting in ways beyond imagination. One of the most liberating aspects of this mindset is releasing the need for external validation. When you believe everything works out for you, you're no longer dependent on others' approval. Your inner knowing becomes your guide, and you trust that the right people and opportunities will appear at the perfect time. As you align with this belief, you recognize your inherent worth and the unique gifts you bring to the world. You no longer seek validation outside yourself because you know everything you need already exists within. This is the key to living in true abundance. Not just material wealth, but an abundance of peace, joy, love, and fulfillment. It's knowing that regardless of what happens, everything is working out perfectly. You are abundant because you're connected to the infinite source of all that is good. When you live from this place of knowing, the universe naturally reflects that abundance back to you. There's a quiet whisper within you. Perhaps you've heard it in moments of stillness, when the noise of the world fades away. It's the voice that reminds you of who you truly are, beyond your fears, beyond your doubts, beyond the stories you've told yourself about limitation. This voice knows something profound. You were never meant to struggle through life. You were meant to dance with it. When you embrace the belief that everything always works out for you, you're not just adopting a positive mindset. You're remembering a truth that lives in the very fabric of your being. You're reconnecting with the part of yourself that came into this world, knowing you belong here, knowing you matter, knowing you're worthy of every beautiful thing your heart desires. Consider your life as a garden. Every experience, every challenge, every moment of joy is like a seed planted in the soil of your becoming. Some seeds sprout quickly, showing you immediate blooms of success and happiness. Others remain hidden beneath the surface, germinating slowly, building strong roots that will one day support the most magnificent flowers you've ever seen. The gardener who trusts the process doesn't panic when winter comes. They don't dig up the bulbs when spring seems delayed. They understand that nature has its own perfect timing, its own divine intelligence. And so do you. Your dreams aren't just wishful thinking scattered into the wind. They're carefully planted intentions in the garden of your soul, tended by a universe that knows exactly when the season is right for their blooming. Perhaps you felt broken before. Perhaps there have been moments when you wondered if you had the strength to continue, when the weight of disappointment felt heavier than hope itself. In those moments, remember this: every ending is also a beginning. Every sunset promises a sunrise. Every winter gives way to spring. The courage to begin again isn't about forgetting the past or pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about choosing to see each new day as a blank page in your story. When you believe everything works out for you, you give yourself permission to write that story with bold strokes of faith, with colors of possibility you've never dared to use before. Remember this: you aren't a passive observer of your life. You're its creator, architect, and author. The moment you choose to act as if everything always works out for you, You begin writing your story with confidence, joy, and unwavering trust. You recognize you're always in the right place at the right time, and everything, even difficult moments, is guiding you toward your highest good. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. When you embrace the truth that everything always works out for you, you unlock a life of limitless possibility, where every dream in your heart is already becoming your reality. And your transformation doesn't happen in isolation. When you begin to live as if everything works out for you, you become a beacon of possibility for others. Your peace becomes contagious. Your confidence inspires. Your joy reminds others of their own forgotten dreams. You become living proof that there's another way to move through this world, not with clenched fists and worried hearts, but with open palms and trusting spirits. In choosing to believe in your own bright future, you give others permission to believe in theirs. This is the beautiful ripple effect of authentic faith. It spreads from heart to heart, lighting up the world one soul at a time. I invite you today to make this choice, a choice that will transform everything. Choose to believe, without doubt, that everything always works out for you. Walk through life with unwavering conviction that regardless of challenges or obstacles, they're merely part of the journey guiding you to your highest good. This is your sacred yes to life, your declaration that you trust the process, even when you can't see the destination. Your commitment to showing up fully, knowing that your presence matters, that your dreams matter, that you matter. When you act as if everything works out for you, you align with a force greater than anything this world can offer. You tap into limitless power within and create a life defined not by circumstances, but by your belief in what's possible. You are the creator of your reality. Your beliefs, mindset, and actions shape the world around you. The moment you decide everything works out for you, you unlock transformative power. The universe begins conspiring in your favor, and you'll discover that nothing is truly impossible. Let go of doubt. Release fear. Choose to live with confidence and trust. Know in your heart that everything is always working out for you, and watch miracles unfold in ways beyond imagination. Your time is now. Not when you're more prepared, not when circumstances are perfect, not when fear stops whispering in your ear. Now, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat. This is when your new story begins. Step forward, act as if, and watch how the world responds with open arms, ready to support the magnificent being you're becoming. The life you desire isn't just possible, it's already on its way. It's time to believe it, embrace it, and welcome it into your experience, with the joy of someone who finally remembers they were always meant to live beautifully.
There is a mystery so profound that once grasped, it will transform the way you approach every dream, every desire, every inner vision. It is this: once you know the secret, keep your mouth shut. We live in a world that rushes to declare, to announce, to boast of intentions before they have taken root. But the truth is that the seed of your desire is most vulnerable when it is new. Speak it prematurely, and the breath of doubt, the wind of another's opinion, may uproot it before it finds its strength. The moment an idea is conceived within you, it is already real. Invisible, yes, but real. Like a child hidden in the womb, it grows best in silence, nourished by the unseen substance of faith. To expose it too early is to place a newborn in the cold, unprepared world where it cannot yet survive. Guard your vision as a sacred treasure. Carry it in the quiet of your mind. Feel it. Live in it. Let it saturate your being until it is as natural to you as the air you breathe. When you know it so deeply that no one's doubt can shake you, then, and only then, will it burst forth into visibility. Understand this: words are not casual things. Every word carries power. To speak a thing is to release it, and once released, it is vulnerable to interference. But when it has already crystallized into fact, no opposition can touch it. So, once you know the secret, keep your mouth shut. Do not seek validation. Do not beg others to agree. The truth does not need agreement to be true. It only needs your silence, your persistence, your faith. And in time, the silence will break on its own, not through your lips, but through the evidence of your life. The world will see, and you will not need to explain. For the secret you carried in silence will have become flesh, and that is the only proof required. The seed of imagination grows in silence. The moment you reveal it too soon, you expose it to winds that scatter it. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil, hidden, unseen, silent, yet alive with potential. It does not cry out for recognition. It does not announce itself to the world. It simply rests, drawing strength, expanding quietly until the day it is strong enough to break through the ground and show its face. Your imagination works in the same way. When you conceive an idea, a vision, or a dream, you have planted a seed in the fertile soil of your mind. It does not need applause, approval, or validation in its earliest stage. It needs silence, stillness, and protection. When you speak of it too quickly, when you expose it to the careless ears of others, you invite forces that may not nurture it. Doubtful voices, skeptical glances, questions laced with fear. These are the winds that scatter the seed before its roots have sunk deep. Most people speak of their dreams not because they are ready, but because they seek assurance from others. They want someone to confirm that it is possible. But the truth is, if you do not yet believe it enough to keep it safe in silence, no amount of agreement will make it real, and every hint of doubt may cause you to abandon it. Silence is not weakness. It is the shield that protects the tender sprout of creation. Imagine a mother carrying her child. In the earliest months, the life is hidden, delicate, and sacred. She does not expose it to the world before its time. She carries it in secret until it grows strong enough to be seen. In the same way, the vision you hold must be guarded as a sacred pregnancy of the soul. The more you dwell on it in silence, the more real it becomes within you. The more you feel it, live in it, and walk with it in your imagination, the more deeply it takes root. Every great creation was once invisible. Every structure, every song, every invention lived first in silence, hidden in the mind of its creator. If they had shared it prematurely, perhaps they would have been laughed at, ridiculed, or persuaded that it could not be done. But those who held their vision close, who nourished it inwardly, allowed it to grow until it was undeniable. That is the secret. Your dream does not need to be spoken. It needs to be embodied. So let the seed remain in the soil of your mind. Tend to it with quiet faith. Do not dig it up by exposing it to the winds of opinion. In due season, when it has gathered enough strength, it will break through on its own. And when it does, no voice, no doubt, and no opposition will be able to scatter it. For what grows in silence emerges unshakable. What you conceal within becomes your reality without. Guard the secret as a womb guards life. The unseen world within you is the true birthplace of everything you will ever encounter in the visible world. Every condition, every circumstance, every relationship begins first as a thought, an image, a feeling in the invisible sanctuary of your imagination. You may believe that the outer world is shaping you, but in truth, It is your inner world that is shaping the outer. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. When you hold a vision within and treat it as sacred, you are carrying life itself. Just as the womb protects the unborn child, you must protect your desire until it matures. A womb does not question if the life inside will form correctly. It does not ask the world for reassurance. It simply nurtures, protects, and guards in silence until the time of birth arrives. In the same way, when you conceive an inner picture, do not betray it by exposing it to the doubts and judgments of others. Do not allow fear or impatience to weaken your faith. Instead, keep it concealed in the quietness of your heart, where it grows stronger with every moment of belief. The great mistake people make is to speak of their vision before it has gathered strength. They share it not because it is ready, but because they are not ready to carry it alone. They want others to validate it. Yet the moment you place your dream in the hands of those who cannot see as you see, you risk having it diminished. Others will measure it by their own limitations, and their words may pierce the fragile state of your faith. But when you conceal it within, when you guard it as a womb guards life, no external voice can destroy it, because it has not yet been offered to the world. Understand that the inner realm is the seed ground of reality. Whatever you impress deeply upon your imagination, whatever you nurture in feeling and conviction, must one day emerge as an event, a circumstance, a condition of your life. But just as no gardener exposes the seed to sunlight and air the moment it is planted, so too must you keep the inner seed hidden until it is ready. The soil of silence, watered with feeling, is the place where all miracles are prepared. When the time comes, the dream you carried within will reveal itself without. You will not need to argue for it. You will not need to prove it. Its presence will speak for itself. Just as a child's birth announces that life has been growing all along, your task is not to force it, nor to reveal it prematurely, but to conceal it faithfully, protecting it from every thief of doubt until it is undeniable. What you hold in secret will one day be your visible world. Every spoken word is a release of power. If directed outward before its season, the harvest is lost. Words are not small things. They are not harmless sounds drifting through the air. Words are seeds, each one carrying within it the potential to create, to destroy, to strengthen, or to weaken. The tongue is the tool that shapes reality, and with every word you utter, you set something into motion. That is why you must be watchful. To speak carelessly, to declare your dreams before their time, is to waste the very energy that was meant to nourish them into being. When a farmer sows seed, he does not throw it on barren ground. He prepares the soil, waits for the right season, and plants it with care. He does not scatter precious seed in the open air simply to prove to others that he has it. Likewise, the words you speak must be chosen and released in the right time, in the right soil, for the right purpose. To speak prematurely of your vision is to cast seed on the wind. It may impress those who hear, but it will bear no fruit, for it was not planted where it could grow. Every word carries energy. To reveal your desires too soon is to spend that energy outward, leaving little within you to sustain the feeling of their fulfillment. You will find yourself weakened, drained, and often discouraged when the outer world does not immediately reflect what you have spoken. This is why so many abandon their dreams. They spoke them too soon, released the energy prematurely, and when nothing came of it, they lost faith. They believed the harvest was lost, not realizing it was their own impatience, that wasted the seed. There is a season for silence, and there is a season for declaration. Silence strengthens, declaration manifests. But if you declare before your vision has matured within you, the declaration is empty, and the world will mirror that emptiness. When you have lived so fully in the end result, when your inner conviction is unshakable, then your words carry the weight of creation. They are not mere statements, they are decrees. They do not ask the world to agree, they command the world to conform. But until that conviction is born in you, your words are fragile, and the wind of another's opinion can scatter them. Guard your speech. Do not reveal your inner treasure for the sake of approval or attention. Hold your tongue as one would hold a sword, using it with precision and purpose, not flinging it wildly into the air. The power of the spoken word is sacred, but it is sacred only when it is born of faith and maturity. Speak too soon and the harvest is lost. Speak at the appointed time and the harvest is certain. Silence is not weakness, it is creation's shield. In the unseen, your dream is already forming. Too often, people mistake silence for passivity, for inaction, for fear. They think that to remain quiet is to lack confidence or conviction. But silence, when used with understanding, is not a sign of weakness. It is the invisible armor that protects the delicate process of creation. Just as a seed beneath the soil is hidden, silent, and unseen, yet full of life, so too is your dream forming in the unseen. To the casual eye, it may appear as though nothing is happening, but in truth, everything is happening where no one can see. The world we live in celebrates noise. It celebrates announcements, declarations, and the rush to prove something before it has matured. People run to share their plans, their visions, their desires, as if the act of speaking them out loud will somehow make them real. Yet in doing so, they forget that true creation is a process, not a performance. A tree does not rush to show its fruit. It grows in silence, season by season, until the time is right. Its strength lies not in noise, but in patience, in the unseen work of its roots. When you choose silence, you are not retreating, you are building. You are giving your dream space to breathe, to take root, to grow beyond the fragile stage where it can be easily harmed. Think of a sculptor who sees a form in the stone. He does not announce with every strike what the finished figure will be. He works in quiet, hidden away in his workshop, until the form reveals itself. By the time the world sees it, the work is already complete. So it must be with your dream. Protect it behind the shield of silence, where it cannot be damaged by doubt or opposition. Silence creates an atmosphere of power. When you withhold your vision from the outer world, you strengthen it in the inner world. Every time you dwell on it in thought, every time you feel its reality in your imagination, you are feeding it, you are shaping it with unseen hands. And because the unseen is the source of the seen, what you hold silently within must eventually take form without. The shield of silence ensures that no premature exposure can weaken it. Those who confuse silence with weakness do not understand creation. Noise often hides insecurity, while silence reveals certainty. When you are silent about your vision, it is not because you doubt it, but because you know it is already taking form. You need not convince anyone, you need not defend it, you need only to carry it faithfully until the day arrives when silence is broken by manifestation itself. In the unseen, your dream is already forming. Guard it with silence, shield it from interference, and trust the process. For when the time is right, the silence will give way to evidence, and the world will see what you already knew in the quiet of your heart. When you announce your treasure too early, you invite thieves. Protect it until it is undeniable. Every treasure is most vulnerable when it is newly discovered. The miner who finds gold does not rush into the streets to declare it before securing it. He knows that the moment he reveals it, others will come with their hands outstretched, some to take it, others to doubt it, and still others to claim it as their own. The same is true of the treasures of your imagination. When you first conceive a dream, it glitters in your mind like hidden gold. But if you announce it too early, you risk exposing it to forces that can weaken, dilute, or even steal it from you. The thieves of dreams are many. They come in the form of skepticism, the laughter of the unbelieving, the warnings of the fearful, and the advice of the cautious. They may even come from those you love, not out of malice, but out of their own limited vision. When you tell them of your treasure, they may not see its value. They may question you, mock you, or remind you of all the reasons it cannot be done. In that moment, if your faith is still fragile, you may begin to doubt what you once knew with certainty. Your treasure, once shining brightly within, begins to dim under the weight of their voices. This is why protection is essential. Your dream is not meant to be exposed to the world in its infancy. Just as a child is guarded in the womb until it can survive in the outer world, your treasure must remain concealed until it is undeniable. To protect it is not selfishness, it is wisdom. You are not hiding it out of fear, but shielding it out of reverence. A seed kept in the soil is not buried to be forgotten. It is hidden to grow. In silence, your treasure gathers strength. It expands beyond the fragile idea it once was and becomes a living conviction. As you nurture it in your imagination, as you feel it with your whole being, it roots itself so deeply within you that no thief can uproot it. By the time it emerges into visibility, no one can deny it, for it is no longer an idea, it is a fact. At that point, there is nothing to protect, because the treasure is already in your possession, shining for all to see. Patience is the guardian of treasure. Those who rush to announce what they have not yet secured often lose it to the thieves of doubt and discouragement. But those who wait, who protect, who hold their vision in sacred silence, always reveal it in power. For when your treasure is undeniable, no voice can take it. No doubt can diminish it, and no thief can touch it. Protect it until that day, and when you reveal it, it will not need your defense. It will speak for itself. The wise one knows. Manifestation requires secrecy, then evidence. Speak only when your world already reflects it. Wisdom understands timing. It understands that creation is not a spectacle to be shared midway, but a mystery to be fulfilled in silence. The unwise rush to speak of what they are planning, of what they are hoping, of what they are imagining, believing that words alone will impress the world. But the wise one does not seek to impress. The wise one seeks to manifest. And manifestation always begins in secrecy, and only later reveals itself in undeniable evidence. Secrecy is not hiding out of fear. It is gestation. When the seed of a vision is planted in the fertile ground of imagination, it requires time, protection, and quiet nurture. The wise one does not dig up the seed to prove that it exists. He knows that the roots are forming unseen, that life is stirring in the dark, and that in the proper season the growth will make itself known. To speak of it prematurely would be to disturb the process. to expose what is still tender to the harshness of doubt. The wise one shields his dream until it is ready to stand on its own. And then comes the evidence. Not words, not explanations, not arguments, but evidence. When the invisible has become visible, when the inner picture has solidified into outer fact, the wise one does not need to persuade. The world sees for itself. Just as the tree needs no announcement that it has borne fruit, the evidence is self-sufficient. The fruit speaks of the roots, the result speaks of the process, and the manifestation speaks of the secrecy that birthed it. To speak before evidence is to place yourself in the position of a beggar, asking others to believe in what they cannot yet see. To speak after evidence is to stand as a witness, showing what has already been accomplished. One weakens your dream, the other confirms it. The wise know the difference. They speak only when their world already reflects the truth they carried in silence. Consider the masters of creation throughout history. They did not announce every detail of their visions before they were complete. They worked in secrecy. They trusted the process. And only when their work was ready did they present it to the world. At that point, no argument was needed. The evidence was undeniable. This is the way of wisdom. The foolish boast of what they will do. The wise reveal what they have already done. So guard your vision in silence until it matures into reality. Do not squander your strength by trying to convince others of what you know within. Let them see it when it arrives, not hear of it when it is still fragile. Manifestation requires secrecy, then evidence. Follow this order and your life will speak louder than your words ever could. Every dream begins as a secret. Every vision is first a whisper in the silence of your own heart. To reveal it too soon is to risk its life, but to guard it in stillness is to ensure its birth. What you carry within will one day stand before you, undeniable and unshakable. So do not rush. Do not seek the approval of others. Let silence be your shield, patience your strength, and faith your companion. For when the time is right, your world will reflect what you once held in secret, and that evidence will speak louder than any words ever could. Thank you for listening, and may your silence become the womb of every great manifestation in your life.
My dear friends, I want you to understand something tonight that will forever change how you walk through this world. You are not merely human beings having a spiritual experience. You are God individualized, walking in flesh, carrying within you the same creative power that spoke the universe into existence. Tonight, I stand before you not as a teacher speaking to students, but as consciousness addressing itself. For there is only one consciousness, one creative power, one divine being expressing itself as the many. You and I are that one being, dreaming we are separate, yet always united in the divine creative act. From the moment you drew your first breath, you began speaking reality into being. Yet most of you remain unconscious of this divine gift. You've been conditioned to believe that words are merely sounds, that thoughts are fleeting wisps with no substance. But I tell you now, this is the greatest deception ever perpetuated upon humanity. Your words are not empty vibrations disappearing into air. They are living seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness, growing into the harvest of your experience. Every syllable you utter, every thought you entertain is an act of creation. You are always creating, my friends. The question is, what are you creating? The ancient Hebrews understood this. They called it dabar, the word that creates by speaking. When they spoke of God's word, they weren't referring to mere communication, but to the active creative force that brings worlds into being. This same power flows through you every moment. Your voice is the voice of the infinite, particularized as you. Consider the very word abracadabra. It means I create as I speak. This wasn't meaningless incantation. but recognition of the fundamental truth of existence. Every word you speak is an abracadabra moment, whether you realize it or not. The only question is whether you're creating consciously or unconsciously. Most of you live imprisoned by the very words you speak. You say, "I can't afford this," and wonder why abundance eludes you. You declare, "Nothing ever works out for me," and then marvel at your string of disappointments. You proclaim, "I'm not good enough," and question why success feels so distant. These are not mere statements. They are commands issued to the creative power within you. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant, accepts every word as instruction and works tirelessly to manifest exactly what you've decreed. I have watched countless individuals destroy their lives not through external circumstances, but through the poison of their own speech. A woman comes to me saying, "I always attract the wrong men." She doesn't realize she's just issued a divine decree. She's commanded her subconscious to arrange circumstances where she will always attract the wrong men, and her faithful servant obeys. A man tells me, "I can never get ahead financially." He speaks this with such conviction, such certainty, that he seals his fate with his own words. His subconscious mind, receiving this as absolute truth, ensures that he never gets ahead financially. Listen carefully. You are the operant power in your world. There is no force outside of you determining your fate. Your circumstances are the perfect mirror of your inner conversations, reflecting back to you precisely what you've been affirming in the secret chambers of your mind. The tragedy is not that life is difficult. The tragedy is that most people make it so through their unconscious use of the creative word. They speak lack and wonder why they're poor. They speak sickness and wonder why they're ill. They speak loneliness and wonder why love passes them by. Now I will share with you the secret that transforms lives. Learn to speak from the end, instead of begging for what you want. Assume you already possess it. This is not positive thinking. This is the fundamental law of creation. When you say, "I am wealthy," you're not lying to yourself. You're claiming your divine inheritance. When you declare, "I am loved," you're not engaging in fantasy. You're recognizing the truth of your being. The words "I am" are the creative formula of existence itself. They are the name of God. And when you use them, you speak with divine authority. Do you remember when Moses asked God for his name? The answer came, "I am that I am." This is not merely a name. It's the creative principle of existence. And every time you say, "I am," you're invoking this same creative power. You're not speaking about yourself. You're speaking as yourself, as the divine being you truly are. Every time you follow "I am" with anything, you are literally defining your reality. I am tired creates tiredness. I am broke creates poverty. I am confused creates confusion. But I am abundant creates abundance. I am loved creates love. I am successful creates success. The power of assumption is this. You don't need to see it to believe it. You need to believe it to see it. Assumption is not hoping or wishing. It's accepting as true what your senses deny. It's walking in the faith that what you've assumed will inevitably manifest. I knew a man who assumed he was a successful author, though he'd never published a word. He spoke as an author. He felt as an author. He introduced himself to his own mind as a successful author. Within 2 years, publishers were seeking him out. His assumption had hardened into fact. Your inner conversations are sacred ceremonies of creation. The thoughts you think repeatedly, the mental arguments you have, the scenarios you replay. These are not idle mental chatter. They are prayers, and every prayer is answered. Most of you pray without ceasing, but you pray for what you don't want. You have inner conversations of lack, limitation, and fear. You imagine failure, rehearse disappointment, and wonder why these experiences manifest in your world. Let me share something profound. Your mind is a theater where you are simultaneously the playwright, director, and lead actor. Every mental conversation is a scene you're writing and performing. The tragedy is that most people write and perform dramas of defeat rather than comedies of triumph. I challenge you tonight. Begin to monitor your inner speech as carefully as you would watch over precious treasure. When you catch yourself in mental conversations that contradict your desires, stop immediately. Revise the conversation. See it ending in triumph, not defeat. Hear yourself speaking words of victory, not victimhood. Your inner speech is more powerful than your outer speech because it operates below the threshold of conscious resistance. When you speak aloud, your conscious mind might object, "That's not true." But your inner conversations slip past these defenses and plant themselves directly into the subconscious soil. The mystics knew this. They practiced what they called the prayer of the heart, continuous inner speech aligned with divine truth. They understood that the kingdom of heaven is within, and it's accessed through the quality of our inner conversations. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is not merely scripture. It is the instruction manual for your divine nature. You are that Word made flesh. You are consciousness expressing itself through the creative power of speech. The word universe itself reveals this truth. Universe means one word or one song. All of creation is the single word of God, expressing itself in infinite variations. You are one note in that cosmic symphony, but you have the power to determine what note you play. Every morning when you wake, you have the opportunity to speak a new world into existence. Instead of groaning about another difficult day, try this. I am grateful for this day of infinite possibilities. Instead of complaining about your challenges, declare, I am blessed with divine solutions to every situation. The word blessing itself reveals this truth. It means to make sacred by speech. Every time you speak positively about your life, you are blessing it into greater expression. You are invoking the divine creative power to manifest more of what you're blessing. But understand this. Words without feeling are like seeds without water. They contain potential, but they won't grow. Your words must be watered by the feeling of their truth. When you say, I am wealthy, you must feel wealthy. When you declare, I am loved, you must feel loved. The feeling is the secret ingredient that transforms words from mere sounds into creative commands. Your emotional responses are not random reactions. They are trained behaviors based on the words you've been programmed to use. When something goes wrong, most of you immediately reach for words like terrible, awful, disaster. These words don't describe your experience. They create it. What if instead you reached for words like interesting, challenging, or an opportunity for growth? I'm not asking you to deny difficulty, but to respond to it from a position of power rather than victimhood. I knew a woman who transformed her life by changing one word. Instead of saying, I have to go to work, she began saying, I get to go to work. That simple shift from have to get to changed her entire relationship with her job. Within months, she received a promotion she'd been seeking for years. The word problem itself creates resistance and struggle. Try replacing it with situation or project. Notice how your entire emotional response shifts. The situation remains the same, but your relationship to it transforms completely. Here's a revolutionary practice. For 1 week, eliminate the word try from your vocabulary. Instead of I'll try to succeed, say I will succeed. Instead of I'll try to be happy, declare I am happy. The word try is an admission of expected failure. It's a hedge bet against your own success. Replace I hope with I know. Hope implies doubt. You hope because you're not certain. But when you know, you speak with divine authority. I hope things work out becomes I know things are working out perfectly. Gratitude is perhaps the most transformative word in human language. But most people practice gratitude incorrectly. They're grateful for what they have, which keeps them focused on their current limitations. True gratitude is being grateful for what you're becoming, for what's already yours, in divine mind. Instead of I'm grateful for my small apartment, try I'm grateful for my expanding living situation. Instead of I'm grateful for my job, declare I'm grateful for my flourishing career. You're not being dishonest. You're speaking from the end, from the fulfilled desire. The word thank you carries tremendous creative power. When you thank life for something before it appears, you're operating from divine consciousness. You're acknowledging that in the realm of imagination, which is the only reality, your desire is already fulfilled. I practice what I call prophetic gratitude, being grateful for things that haven't yet appeared in the physical world, but are absolutely real in divine mind. Thank you for my perfect health, I say, even if my body shows symptoms of illness. Thank you for my abundant prosperity, I declare, even if my bank account suggests otherwise. Modern science confirms what ancient wisdom has always known. Sound creates form. When you speak, you're not just moving air, you're organizing energy into patterns that will eventually manifest as your experience. Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiments with water crystals revealed that positive words create beautiful, symmetrical patterns, while negative words create chaotic, fragmented forms. Since your body is approximately 70% water, Imagine the effect your words have on your cellular structure. Every word carries a frequency, and every frequency attracts like frequencies. Speak words of love, and love vibrates toward you. Speak words of abundance, and abundance responds to your call. This is not metaphor, it is the law of life itself. The ancient Egyptians understood this. They believed that speaking the name of something gave you power over it. This is why they were careful about which names they spoke and which words they used in their sacred ceremonies. Your body, being mostly water, is particularly responsive to the words you speak. When you say, "I am sick," your very cells receive this as instruction. When you declare, "I am healthy and strong," your body responds by aligning with this truth. You are literally commanding your own biology through your speech. But here's what's even more remarkable. Your words don't just affect you, they affect everyone and everything around you. When you speak words of peace, you create a field of peace that influences others. When you speak words of love, you become a broadcast station of love, affecting every person you encounter. Understand this. When you speak with the voice of God. There is no power greater than the power speaking through you right now. The same consciousness that spoke light into existence speaks through your voice every moment of every day. This is why Jesus said, "By your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned." Your words are not just sounds. They are decrees issued by divine consciousness. Every word is either building or destroying, blessing or cursing, creating heaven or hell in your experience. Most of you speak carelessly, unconsciously, as if words were without power. But I tell you, there is no such thing as idle words. Every word is creative. Every statement is a prayer. Every declaration is a command to the universe. The word authority comes from author. You are the author of your life story, and authors have authority over their creation. You can write any story you choose. You can create any character you wish to be. You can design any plot you desire to live. But with this authority comes responsibility. You are responsible for every word you speak, every thought you think, every story you tell yourself. You cannot blame circumstances, other people, or external conditions for your experience. You are the operant power, the creative force, the author of your reality. Love is the highest frequency, the most creative force in the universe. When you speak from love, you speak with maximum creative power. This is why Jesus emphasized love above all else. Not as a moral imperative, but as a creative principle. The word love in English comes from the Sanskrit lub, meaning to desire. True love is divine desire expressing itself. When you love something, you're desiring it into greater expression. When you speak words of love, you're creating more of what you love. But here's the secret. You must first love yourself. The quality of your self-talk determines the quality of your entire life experience. If you speak to yourself with criticism, judgment, and harshness, you're creating a reality of criticism, judgment, and harshness. Begin speaking to yourself as you would speak to your most beloved friend. Replace "I'm so stupid" with "I'm learning and growing." Replace "I always mess up" with "I'm becoming better every day." Replace "I hate my life" with "I'm grateful for this opportunity to create something beautiful." The relationship you have with yourself through your inner speech is the template for every other relationship in your life. Speak to yourself with love, and you'll attract people who speak to you with love. Speak to yourself with respect, and you'll attract people who respect you. Even your relationship with time can be transformed through conscious speech. Instead of saying, "I don't have enough time," declare, "I have all the time I need." Instead of "time is running out," affirm, "Time expands to accommodate my needs." The word present has multiple meanings. It's the current moment, and it's also a gift. When you're truly present, when you're speaking from the now instead of past regrets or future anxieties, you're giving yourself the gift of creative power. Stop saying "someday" and start saying "today." Stop saying "eventually" and start saying "now." The only moment you have creative power is this moment. The only time you can speak a new reality into being is now. "I will be happy someday" is a decree that happiness will always be in the future. "I am happy now" is a decree that calls happiness into the present moment. Your creative word operates in the eternal now. Your words don't just create your individual reality. They contribute to the collective consciousness of humanity. Every word you speak either adds to the sum total of love, wisdom, and truth in the world, or it adds to the sum total of fear, ignorance, and limitation. When you speak words of peace, you're not just creating peace in your own life, you're adding to the peace of the world. When you speak words of abundance, You're not just creating abundance for yourself, you're contributing to the abundance consciousness of humanity. This is why it matters what you say, even in private. Your words have impact beyond your personal sphere. They ripple out through the interconnected web of consciousness, affecting people you'll never meet, situations you'll never know about. Be conscious of your contribution to the collective conversation. Are you adding to the fear or the faith? Are you contributing to the problem or the solution? Are you speaking limitation or liberation? Words have the power to heal yourself and others. When you speak words of health, vitality, and wholeness, you're invoking the healing power of consciousness. Your body responds to your words because your body is made of the same consciousness that speaks through you. Instead of describing your symptoms in vivid detail, speak of your healing. Instead of talking about what's wrong, speak of what's becoming right. Instead of identifying with illness, identify with wellness. I've seen people heal themselves through conscious speech. A woman with chronic pain began saying, "My body is healing perfectly," instead of "My pain is terrible." A man with financial troubles began declaring, "I am prospered in all my ways," instead of "I'm broke." Their words became the bridge from illness to health, from lack to abundance. But remember, healing words must be spoken with feeling. If you're affirming health while feeling sick, you're creating from sickness consciousness. Feel the truth of your words, feel the reality of your healing, feel the certainty of your wholeness. Every word you speak is like a child you send out into the world. Some of your word children are beautiful, bringing joy and blessing wherever they go. Others are destructive, causing pain and limitation. Which children are you sending out? Your words have a life of their own once you speak them. They go forth and create after their kind. Words of love create loving situations. Words of fear create fearful circumstances. Words of abundance create abundant conditions. Be as careful with your words as you would be with your actual children. Nurture them with feeling. Guide them with intention. Send them out with love. They will return to you multiplied, bringing experiences that match their nature. The metaphors you use shape your reality. If you describe your life as a struggle, you'll experience struggle. If you call your challenges mountains to climb, you'll find them difficult and exhausting. If you see your setbacks as learning opportunities, you'll extract wisdom from every experience. Choose your metaphors consciously. Instead of life being hard, let it be an adventure. Instead of work being a grind, let it be a stage for your talents. Instead of relationships being complicated, let them be opportunities for love. The metaphor of life as a dream is particularly powerful. When you realize that life is consciousness dreaming itself into experience, you understand that you can change the dream by changing your inner speech. You're not trapped in someone else's dream, you're the dreamer. Learning to say no to negative speech is as important as learning to say yes to positive speech. When someone tries to engage you in conversation about limitation, lack, or fear, you have the right to decline participation. "I don't accept that reality" is a powerful phrase. "That's not my experience" is another. You don't have to argue or convince, you simply refuse to join in conversations that contradict your divine nature. Protect your consciousness as carefully as you would protect your most precious possession. What you allow into your mind through speech, your own and others, becomes the raw material of your experience. Your true nature is the eternal yes of God, the divine affirmation that says yes to love, yes to life, yes to all good. When you align your speech with this eternal yes, you become a blessing to yourself and everyone around you. Say yes to your dreams. Say yes to your potential. Say yes to the divine possibilities that are always available to you. Your yes is the creative word that opens doors, creates opportunities, and manifests miracles. You came into this world with a sacred commission to be a creator, to speak worlds into existence, to demonstrate the power of consciousness made manifest. Every day you postpone this recognition is a day you live beneath your divine heritage. Your words are the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between imagination and reality, between what is and what can be. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are the creator of circumstances through the divine power of your speech. You are here to prove that limitation is an illusion, that lack is a lie, that fear is a fiction. You are here to demonstrate that love is the only reality, that abundance is your natural state, that joy is your divine inheritance. I promise you this, as you begin to speak from your divinity rather than your humanity, as you learn to use words as tools of creation rather than description, your entire world will transform. Doors that were closed will open. Opportunities that were invisible will appear. People who can help you will be drawn to you. This is not magic. This is natural law. This is not wishful thinking. This is the science of creation. You are not learning something new. You are remembering something ancient. You are not becoming something different. You are accepting something that has always been true. The transformation will not be immediate, but it will be inevitable. As you persist in conscious speech, as you refuse to accept limitation as your reality, as you speak from the end of your desires, the universe will rearrange itself to match your words. Old patterns will dissolve. New possibilities will emerge. What seemed impossible will become inevitable. What felt distant will draw near. What appeared difficult will become natural. As you transform your own speech and consequently your own life, you'll become an inspiration to others. Your example will give others permission to examine their own use of words. Your transformation will create ripples of awakening in everyone around you. You'll become what I call a consciousness lifter. Someone whose very presence elevates the conversation, whose words inspire hope, whose faith makes the impossible seem possible. This is not ego. This is divine service. You serve others by demonstrating the power that lives within them too. Children will feel safe around you because you don't speak fear. Adults will seek your company because you speak possibility. The world will benefit from your conscious use of the creative word. Make conscious speech a spiritual practice. Just as some people pray or meditate, make the conscious use of words your form of worship. Every positive word is a prayer. Every empowering statement is an act of faith. Every declaration of truth is a moment of communion with the divine. Begin each day by speaking your intentions into existence. End each day by blessing everything you experienced. Throughout the day, catch yourself speaking unconsciously and immediately revise your words to align with your highest vision. Create rituals around your speech. Before important conversations, silently affirm that your words will be guided by wisdom and love. Before making decisions, declare that you have divine guidance. Before entering challenging situations, speak peace and success into the experience. Will you make this commitment with me tonight? Will you agree to treat your words as the sacred creative tools they are? Will you refuse to speak limitation over your life and instead declare the truth of your infinite potential? This is not a commitment to positive thinking. It's a commitment to truth thinking. It's not about denying reality, it's about creating reality. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about speaking everything into greater perfection. Your commitment is sacred because your creative power is sacred. You're not just changing your vocabulary. You're claiming your divine inheritance. You're not just speaking differently. You're living differently. This moment, right now, is the moment of your transformation. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when you feel ready. Now. The power is present. The opportunity is here. The time is now. Your transformation begins with your next word. Your new life starts with your next sentence. The kingdom of heaven, which is simply life lived from divine consciousness, awaits your recognition. As you leave here tonight, you take with you the most powerful creative tool in existence, your voice. Use it consciously. Use it lovingly. Use it powerfully. Use it to create the life you've always dreamed of living. Remember, every conversation is an opportunity to practice conscious creation. Every phone call is a chance to speak truth. Every interaction is a moment to demonstrate the power of the divine word. You are the word made flesh. You are consciousness individualized. You are the operant power in your world. Begin now to speak as the God you are, and watch as your world rearranges itself to confirm your divine declarations. The power is yours. The choice is yours. The time is now. Go forth and create with your words. Speak your world into being. Live from the end of your desires, and watch as the middle fills itself in with divine precision. This is your divine inheritance. This is your sacred power. This is your time. The word is made flesh through you. The universe is waiting for your command. Eternity is listening for your voice. Begin now. Remember, you are not learning to use power. You are learning to recognize the power you've always possessed. Every word is a choice. Every choice is creation. Every creation is divine. The infinite creative power of the universe flows through your voice at this very moment. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly. Use it now.